The hardest part of telling a story is finding a way to begin the telling of it. Well, this one starts with three friends hiking in the Olympics, and we begin this hike at the trailhead of Three Forks Trail in the Deer Park Campground. And although it was less than a 5-mile hike to start with, we started this hike at an elevation of 5,300 feet and dropped to an elevation of 2,100 feet. Of course, these numbers are rounded approximations. If you want exact numbers, you can do your own research. Our first night in Grey Wolf Camp was like spending time in the Shire. In this area, you have Three Forks Camp and Grey Wolf Camp, separated by the convergence of Grand Creek, Cameron Creek, and Grey Wolf River. You walk through rolling green mounds and cross makeshift bridges. The next day, we set out to leave the Shire behind. We hike about 5.5 miles to Falls Camp and gain about 1,500 feet of elevation. Along the way, we start getting our first look at boxed in meadows and distant mountaintops peeking through the trees. We turn up the boot trail leading to Cedar Lake and pick up another 1,500 feet of elevation, but only in 1.5 miles. The Cedar Lake experience was very peaceful and relaxing, truly an oasis of tranquility, a place to be one with nature and to reconnect with God. The next day, we set out around the lake to begin our slightly off-trail adventure to meet up with the Grey Wolf Trail again. Our first obstacle is the mountain pass, which requires us to go up another 1,000 foot of elevation. After going over that pass, we follow a ridgeline before dropping back down to Grey Wolf Trail, just in time to tackle our next big obstacle, Grey Wolf Pass, topping out at 6,485 feet of elevation. We drop back down to Dos Wallops River Trail at an elevation of 3,600 feet. We walk this trail and finish our day at Dos Meadows Camp at an elevation of 4,500 feet. We start out our day like many other days, looking to tackle another mountain pass. We follow Cameron Pass Trail up to an elevation of 5,600 feet to go over Lost Pass. Here we enjoy a well-deserved break for the day. Now we set our eyes on Cameron Pass, which tops out at around 6,400 feet. From there we have a fairly rugged drop down into Upper Cameron Basin, where we will find and make camp at around 5,500 feet.
Bobby Cobbler's way up there. Enad's way back there. So it's been tough hiking, but every hill there's a reward with all these views, and we can't have been any luckier with the weather either. I love you guys back home, and see you soon.
The next day we set out through the basin with our eyes set on Grand Pass. As we hike through the basin, unfortunately we drop to an elevation of around 4,100 feet before beginning our climb up and over Grand Pass. As we begin to tackle Grand Pass, it feels like two climbs. We have a significant change in elevation before plateauing in a meadow with our eyes set on the final climb to get up and over Grand Pass. Grand Pass tops out at around 6,400 feet.
Almost at the top.
miles down there on our last switchback. Let's get to the top of Grand Pass.
We end our day at Grand Lake at 4,700 foot of elevation. We find ourselves taking a very cold but much needed bath after 4 days of hiking.
"2,000 years later."
Anybody who knows me knows that was tough.
On our last day, we leave Grand Lake Valley by way of Grand Pass Trail, which immediately climbs from 5,000 feet of elevation to 6,400 feet of elevation. We hike the ridgeline to Obstruction Point parking, then on to Deer Park Campground. Along the way, we bounce between 6,400 feet of elevation and about 6,000 feet of elevation. We end our day at Deer Park Campground, again at 5,400 feet of elevation.
Last day of this loop, finishing out. I don't know, it's hard to tell because we've taken a little bit of off-trail stuff and all that, but around 45-ish miles. It's been a great 5 days. It's been awesome. Awesome views. Awesome elevation changes. Probably the most I've done in one hike. But holding up pretty good. The group's holding up pretty good. Miss you guys back home. Keep thinking about everybody. Just keep praying and see you in a few days. Already back again. Just finally get to walk by myself for a little bit. Everybody's been grouped together so tight. I just really enjoy being by myself for a little bit and missing you guys home. So I don't know, I'm trying to catch Mount Olympus out back there, and it has Blue Glacier showing at us. It's just spectacular out here. I mean, you know, you grow up on the East Coast, everybody's like, oh, you gotta see the West Coast, blah blah blah. You're like, whatever, East Coast is awesome. East Coast is awesome, but this is like the East Coast just grew up. So you know what's crazy? Is I was down in that valley. So we came from these lakes here. We popped up on the ridge line over here. Coming around. There's Mount Olympus again, way back there. And then we've been following a trail around here.
After our first loop, we drive over to the Hoh River Trail and hike through a rich old-growth temperate rainforest. We enjoy a rolling hike that changes elevation by only about 200 feet the entire hike. We stay at the same camp for 2 nights and enjoy relaxing by the Hoh River before rejoining society.
Have a warning in camp about coyotes being fairly aggressive about stealing stuff, and this little booger is not running very far whenever I chase him off. See him now? He is 20 yards from me through the grass. I chase him off, that's about as far as he gets. He is waiting for me to turn my back on the camp so he can be a little thief. And this is a little crazier, comes in that way. Little turd. And I'm back at my camp and he's found his way back around. I guess we're gonna play this game for a little while.